The film begins on a turbulent, stormy night. A man named Neil arrives at the door of a pub, where the owner, Owen, answers. Neil requests an opportunity to speak to his deceased wife, offering Owen a substantial sum of money for this chance. Despite the enticing offer, Owen declines, urging Neil to leave. As Neil departs, Owen takes a sip of his drink to steady his nerves. He then records a video message, warning the viewer that the pub houses a cursed tenant in the basement. He states that they are the guardian, and must not release her, as her curse is meant to end with him that night. He concludes ominously, saying that if they are watching this message, he has failed, and they are doomed. Following this, Owen heads to the basement, where he ties a figure to a chair and pours oil around it, preparing to set a fire. Just as he is about to ignite it, he feels something touch his face and flees from the basement, engulfed in flames, and dies instantly. Later, we meet a young woman named Iris, who sneaks into a house with her friend to collect her belongings, as she is unable to pay the rent. Suddenly, she receives a call informing her that her father has passed away. In shock, she arranges a flight to London to identify his body at the morgue. A solicitor accompanies her to her father's pub and gives her a brief tour. She asks if she can stay overnight, and he agrees. That night, her friend Katie calls to say she'll be visiting. As Iris sleeps, she hears noises downstairs and goes to investigate. She encounters Neil, grabbing a bottle for protection. Neil explains that he wishes to see his wife, who he believes is in the basement. He offers Iris £8,000 for access to the basement, but she tells him to return the following day, as she doesn't yet have the keys. Before handing her the keys, the solicitor gives her an old document to sign, along with a cassette tape containing a message from her father. The next morning, Katie arrives, and Iris tells her about Neil's odd request. Later, Neil returns, and Iris escorts him to the basement. Once there, Neil calls out, and they see a shadow emerging. Soon, a mysterious creature, wrapped in a sack and with its head covered, appears. At Iris's command, the creature stops approaching and sits on a chair. Neil sits beside the creature, presenting it with his wife's ring, which it takes into its mouth. He straps it to the chair, and the creature slowly transforms into a woman. When Neil uncovers her face, he is shocked to see not his wife, but her mother. He asks why she abandoned him as a child. Her reply is painfully cold. After his birth, life felt like a slow death. Unexpectedly, she asks him for a kiss, as he never wished to kiss her as a child. In shock, Neil steps back. When he glances back, the woman has disappeared from the chair. Suddenly, she grabs him from behind, demanding a kiss, then vomits water on him. Iris tells her to stop, and the woman obeys. Neil instructs Iris to cover her head with the bag again, and as Iris complies, the woman returns to her previous form, spits out the ring, and retreats into the basement's depths. When they return upstairs, Neil admits the ring was his mother's and suggests another attempt. However, Iris refuses, urging him to find peace, as his wife is gone. Before he leaves, he reveals they could only speak to her for 2 minutes. Later, Iris watches the recording her father left, in which he warns her not to release the creature from the basement or speak to it more than once. He apologizes for abandoning her as a child. After watching the video, Katie argues with Iris about the situation in the basement, insisting they leave. Iris explains she has nowhere else to go and intends to stay for a few days. They go to the basement, where Iris writes "Do not cross" on the stairs and commands the creature not to pass the marked step. Katie props a barrel against the basement door for added safety. While leaving, a picture falls off the wall. As Katie picks it up, she notices something peculiar in the image, which leads her to investigate. Meanwhile, Iris visits Neil at his home, where he serves her tea, and they discuss her father. Neil reveals that her father had once agreed to let him see his wife but later changed his mind. Surprised, Iris admits she didn't know her father well and wasn't even aware of where he lived. Together, they return to the basement, and Neil presents the creature with a necklace that belonged to his wife. As time ticks away, Neil removes the bag from the creature's head, revealing his deceased wife. Neil embraces her, asking her about a possible affair. She insists there was no other man, she simply didn't want to be with him anymore. Just as time runs out, Iris reminds Neil of their 2-minute limit. When she tries to place the bag over the creature's head, it recoils, and the basement falls into darkness. Iris hears her mother's voice and, overwhelmed, approaches, but when she moves to cover her mother's head, her mother lunges at her. The creature cryptically tells Iris, "We are both prisoners," before allowing her to replace the bag. Upstairs, Iris confronts Neil, accusing him of deceit, and Katie furiously demands he leave. In a vision, Iris sees her father speaking with her mother, where he mentions his intent to see Iris. Her mother warns him of dire consequences if he tries to leave, urging him to set her free to end the curse. Owen considers burning the pub to erase its curse, but in the process, he is engulfed in flames. Later that night, Iris dreams of her father, but when she touches his face, it falls away, revealing the creature. Enraged, she attempts to strangle it but realizes she is the one being choked. When she removes the mask, it's her own face beneath, and she wakes, gasping. She goes to the bathroom, intent on cutting the key strap from her neck, but Katie arrives and removes it for her. Together, they visit the solicitor's office, but no one is there. On their return, Katie urges Iris to leave the cursed pub, fearing for her sanity. Iris reacts angrily, feeling that Katie is trying to take something else away from her. Overhearing, the creature listens intently to their argument. Saddened, Katie leaves to investigate further. She arrives at a desolate place filled with strange clues and leaves a message for Iris. Desperate for answers, Iris offers the creature her father's watch to communicate with him. In the vision that follows, her father apologizes, explaining he had tried to return to her, but her mother's failing health prevented him. When Iris's father attempted to escape the pub's curse, Iris urgently asks him how to control the creature. He admits he knows nothing about its true nature, except that its strength grows with each use. Suddenly, his form is engulfed in flames, and he warns Iris never to summon him again. Meanwhile, Katie ventures into the basement, where the creature appears behind her, prompting her to dash for the stairs. In a disturbing moment, the creature grabs a picture from the wall and devours it. Removing its mask, it reveals itself as a man named Otto. Otto explains that the creature was once a woman with the power to revive the dead. A secretive brotherhood discovered her ability and sought to exploit it. When she refused, they condemned her as a witch and burned her alive. However, her death unleashed dark forces, prompting the Brotherhood to perform a ritual to imprison her spirit. Despite this, they continued to use her powers, bringing dire consequences. Otto then asks if Katie is the gatekeeper. She denies it, and he ominously replies that there are no answers, only suffering, before attacking her. Hearing Katie's voice, Iris hurries to investigate. Her search leads her into a hidden tunnel, where she tragically finds Katie's lifeless body. Overwhelmed with fury and sorrow, Iris vows to destroy the creature. As she attempts to escape, the creature pursues her relentlessly. Neil enters the basement and offers Iris some pills, assuring her they'll ease her pain and pledging his support. However, Iris later awakens to realize the pills were actually a sedative. She overhears Neil conversing with the creature, offering himself as her new guardian. Sarah appears and urges Neil to kill Iris, as he did his family, to prove his commitment. Though he hesitates, Neil learns that Iris knows his secrets, sparking him to pursue her. They clash on the rooftop, where Neil attempts to strangle her. Iris, fighting back, strikes him and makes a break for it. He catches her on the stairs, releasing his grip just enough to make her fall to her death. He then brings her body to the creature, which consumes a possession of Iris's, causing Iris to re-emerge from within the creature's form. Neil, desperate to secure his role as guardian, asks Iris how he can assume the position. The creature, speaking through Iris, thanks Neil for eliminating her previous guardian, explaining that Iris's name remains on the deed, making her the creature's rightful master. She reveals she had orchestrated events to set herself free and she has finally succeeded. In a final twist, the lights go out, and the creature drags Neil toward the hole, where his mother grabs his arms, snapping them, while his wife seizes his head, smashing it against the floor. Iris, taking pity, strikes Neil with a chair, ending his suffering. With the creature now resembling Iris, she escapes the cursed property, and the entire place is soon consumed in flames. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you don't miss any of our video updates.